Hello everyone. Welcome back to today's 9 p.m. daily quiz. I hope all of you are doing good and you are ready to test yourself for the current affairs for today. Wherever you read your current affairs from, wherever you watch a Hindu analysis from, make sure that you come here every night after 9 p.m. to test if you're able to remember the important news for the day. Let's start with today's quiz. As always, if you're new here, do hit the like and the subscribe button and do tell me in the comment section how many questions did you get right from today's quiz. So we'll start with a very easy question. It's a pretty easy question depending upon the day that you are watching this. Today is 26th of November, which is observed as India's Constitution Day. So the question, Constitution Day of India, that is Samvidhan Divas, is observed on 26th November each year. Which statement about this observance is correct? First, it commemorates the day Constitution came into effect. Second, it marks the day the Constitutional Assembly adopted the Constitution. Third, it marks the day of the drafting committee submitting its first draft. Or fourth, it's observed only in Delhi. Pretty easy, simple. This is the day that Constitutional Assembly adopted the Constitution. Here are a few things that you need to remember. Usually, this day is celebrated by the Supreme Court of India, where a function is held. Practically speaking, if you look at the Constituent Assembly, the Constitution was adopted on 26 November 1949, but it came into force on 26 Jan 1950, the day that we celebrate as our Republic Day. However, there are a couple of things that you have to understand here. First, when the Constitution was complete on 26 November, why did we wait for 2 more months? Why did we wait till 26 Jan 1950? The reason being that 20 years ago, that is 26 Jan 1930, was the day that Congress has adopted the Purna Swaraj Divas. That was a day that the Congress said that from now onwards, our only demand will be complete independence from the British rule and not any dominion status. Congress, in fact, had been celebrating this as the Independence Day before our independence. One other thing that you must remember, there were a few laws, some provisions of the Constitution that came into force from 26 November itself. Laws about citizenship, about elections in India. Remember, they came into being from 26 November itself. The remaining ones, most of them, came into being from 26 Jan 1950. So the answer is pretty simple, straightforward. That is B. Moving on to the second question. The UPSC is holding its Shatabdi Sammelan as part of its centenary year, means 100 years of completion. Which of the following is not correct about UPSC? You must get this one right if you are true UPSC aspirants. First, it was established under Article 315 as a constitutional body. It advises on recruitment and disciplinary matters. It recruits for certain central services. Its decisions cannot be reviewed by courts. You have to tell which of these is not correct. Pretty simple, this is D. The logic of the decision of UPSC or even their final outcome can be challenged in the court. Whatever recommendations they make are not binding on the government. They only suggest. That is why even in your final result of the UPSC exam, your answer sheet or your result card will only say the word recommended or not recommended. It doesn't say congratulations or this rank or that rank. It just uses the word recommended, meaning that they're indicating that we have recommended your name to the Government of India. Now let's see if the Government of India accepts that recommendation. Please remember, the UPSC recommendations are never binding on the government. Third, Delhi NCR's air quality mildly improved but remains severe. Which factor is least likely to directly contribute to elevated winter PM 2.5 levels in Delhi? As you know, it's an unfortunate but recurring theme every single year. You will see high pollution levels in Delhi and other parts of North India as well. Which of these factors do not contribute or least likely contribute to Delhi's pollution? Stubble burning, volcanic ash transport, temperature inversion, and vehicular emission. Yesterday, I did a video on the volcanic eruption in Ethiopia and how it has impacted the flight operations in India and then it will move to China. However, in reality, if you look at Delhi's pollution problem, it has no impact of volcanic ash transport. India, fortunately, anyways, we do not have any active volcano in India. So there's no logic of any volcanic eruption. Even in nearby countries, we don't really have an active volcano in our vicinity that would have an impact. All others have an impact on Delhi's air pollution, some small impact, some large impact, but all others do have a certain amount of impact. So the answer here, pretty easy, would be C. Moving on to question number 4. India and Nepal began the 19th edition of their bilateral military exercise. What is the primary strategic relevance of any such exercise? First, one-time weapon transfer? Not really. We are not transferring any weapons or taking weapons from Nepal. Replacement of diplomatic talks? That is not what military exercises are for. NATO-type defense guarantees? No. There is no guarantee between India and Nepal. Building interoperability and HADR cooperation, this is correct. What is HADR? HADR is human assistance and disaster relief. Human assistance and disaster relief. So you would have seen whenever there are, for example, earthquakes or these kind of situations in Nepal, India is one of the first countries to respond, to send its resources, to send its team. So to ensure that we are ready and capable of helping them whenever they require, these kind of operations are usually held very regularly. The answer thus here is B. That is the objective of India-Nepal exercise. Next, question number 5. Delhi inaugurated 70 new Arogya Mandirs as part of expanding health infrastructure. This reflects which health policy objective? First, focus only on tertiary hospitals. Second, strengthening primary healthcare and making Delhi a medical hub. Third, privatizing health services. Or fourth, reducing government facilities. Now, please remember the government health infrastructure is a usually 3-tier division or divided into 3 tiers. At the bottommost level, you have the primary healthcare. So primary healthcare basically means the government OPDs where you can go and visit the doctor. They do not have admission facility. So they do not have facility where you can get admitted or can get operated. Above that is secondary. Secondary is usually the district hospitals that you have. And if the matters even don't get resolved there, then you have tertiary level. So tertiary, for example, a specialist hospital such as, let's say, AIIMS that we have in Delhi. So this is the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 structure. The Arogya Mandir are at the bottommost level. These are for primary healthcare. So the idea of these is, these are kind of OBDs. These are replacement of Mohalla Clinic that the Aam Aadmi Party had set up in Delhi. So this is how it will work. The BJP that has come to power now is replacing it with its own idea. The answer thus here is B. Moving on to question number 6. India's National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases and Stroke has been in the news due to rising non-communicable disease burdens. Under which broader mission is this currently implemented? So this program is implemented under which of the larger umbrella programs? National Health Mission, Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana, Ayushman Bharat, or the National Nutrition Mission. This is a part of National Health Mission. National Health Mission is an umbrella mission that includes a lot of initiatives of the government to give a positive push to health parameters in the country, and this particular program works under the National Health Mission only. Next is question number 7. The Jal Jeevan Mission review highlights performance gaps. Which of the following is correct about the mission's central aim? So what is it that the Jal Jeevan Mission was aiming to achieve? Urban piped water by 2030, mandating groundwater extraction, rural household tap connections by 2024-25, or full privatization of rural water supply. Which of these were the primary objective of the Jal Jeevan Mission? Think about it. The answer is the rural household tap connection. The aim originally was that each rural household shall have a tap connection by 2024-25. We are past the deadline as you can see, and we have not achieved that. So a review was done to see what were the performance gaps and where exactly was the program lagging behind. That is what has been pointed out here. Moving on to the last question for today's quiz. This is question number 9. Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency IREDA was recently given the Navratna status. What benefits does a Navratna status give to a company or a PSU? Full autonomy from all government oversight, automatic Maharatna upgrade, enhanced financial and investment autonomy, including powers for joint ventures and capital expenditure, exemption from CAG audits. Now, many government companies are divided into Maharatna, Mini Ratna, Navratna. These status are usually given to government companies to give them certain amount of autonomy. For example, if you become a Navratna, then up to a certain amount of money you can spend without the government's permission. Like if you have to bid for certain contracts outside the country, you don't need to take government permission up to a certain level. If you're engaging in buying a company, in any joint ventures, up till a certain level, you will be given autonomy. So there are Maharatnas, the biggest one like ONGC, etc. Then there are Navratnas and there are Mini Ratnas. So it gives much more autonomy. The answer thus is B. It gives enhanced financial and investment autonomy, including for joint ventures and capital expenditure. Although they're government companies, but they would not have to ask the government permission for all of these up to a certain limit. Do remember this as well. This brings me to the end of today's quiz. I hope you got most of the questions right. Do tell me in the chat section, the comment section rather, how many did you get right. If you want this PPT for your revision, do join my Telegram channel. The link is in the description of the video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.